Well, it's a 10-killing contract. I'm Jackie.
Do Robot Jox pick on robot nerds and date the robot prom queen? I'm Justin.
This one's a real Pacific Rim job. I'm Sam, and this is 1989's Robot Jox on Stinker Madness.
Hello and welcome to Sneaker Madness. This is the podcast about bad movies for bad movie lovers by bad movie lovers. I'm your host, Justin. With me are always Sam and Jackie. This week on the show, currently streaming on Tubi TV, and I'm assuming all the other free with ads, apps, whatever, but use Tubi because it's better. Robot Jox, starring people I've never heard of or seen before. Executive produced by Charles Band, and Jeffrey Combs is in it briefly. That's about all I have to say about it. Final recommendations.
You don't...
Just kidding.
Well, I guess we picked this because Bad Movie Fiends. We were going to do it last week, but then everybody went on vacation because Earth sucks and you need one of those every once in a while.
It was Mother's Day. It was vacation for
Oh, yeah,
mothers.
that too. I forgot that because my mom went to an actual graduation at U of I, so I was sort of free for the weekend doing nothing. I enjoyed it.
Not even partaking in the Mother's Day. Mom took a holiday. You took a nap.
Yeah. I took a nap yesterday, too. I went to bed at 6:30 last night and didn't get up until 8.
Sweet. It's a good day.
Yeah.
Not getting anything done. High accomplishments. Jackie, did you have a nice Mother's Day?
I did. It started off with me getting up and getting the very first breakfast pancakes in camping land.
That's
and
right.
then
We went camping.
We went fishing, which is like one of my favorite things to do. And I caught a fish like almost immediately. And I was the only one that caught anything. And then it was kind of downhill from there. Nobody else caught anything, including myself. And then we drove back and I had a giant calzone from my favorite place. And I watched movies and
what did we watch?
A lot of fun. We watched,
Can't remember. It was The Mummy.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
The Mummy.
Yeah. Our son had never seen 1999's The Mummy starring Brendan Fraser. And so we subjected him to that, and he loved it. And you know what? So did I.
Yeah, he's the right age for that one.
Yeah, and so am I, apparently. Last time I watched it, I went back and I looked on IMDb, and I had given it a 5 out of 10. And I was like...
What's terrible?
It's really not. It's actually like... I think it's not terrible on accident. I think it's very tongue-in-cheek, knows exactly what it's doing and saying the entire time, and it's so fucking efficient. And I warned him. I was like, now these special effects might be a little dated, because the whole time I'm thinking The Rock and the Scorpion King, right? And he looks terrible.
Yeah.
It actually kind of holds water. The first one looks pretty decent.
I feel like in the first one, they didn't try to overextend on the special effects. They sort of knew what they could get away with.
Yeah. I mean, it's heavy special effects, but there's also a lot of practical stuff in there. It's silly as crap. It's just fun. I mean, if you haven't seen it in a long time, go in realizing that it's a hokey, very campy movie, but the whole damn thing is just fucking fun. It's fun.
Brendan Fraser was interviewed about it, and he's like, yeah, I'd do more of them. Anybody that doesn't like these doesn't like to have fun.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah, they're fun. Jackie nods in agreement because that's how audio works.
No, I'm sorry. I also want to add to my Mother's Day that on Thursday I was out training for my 5K that I finished today. I had a race at the St. Louis Zoo, and I've been training for this goddamn thing for 3 months.
Lifting big barrels of hay, doing the upside down crunches, pulling the oxen cart through the snow.
Yeah,
You're
something like that. So I'm out running, and it's been raining here, right? And I take a street that I don't normally take. And I get to one spot, and there's a car coming up behind me, so I get over to the side of the road, and I should probably have started with there's no sidewalks here. So the car goes by me, and I plant my right foot down, and then my left foot pushes off, but it unsuccessfully pushes off because I am in the middle of some kind of oil slick. Some asshole had a shit car and let it do whatever on the side of the road like a damn stray dog. And I did the splits. I am not a young lady, and I did the splits. And then I couldn't even get myself out of the splits because I'm stuck in the oil, and every time I try to move, I just slide around. So I'm over there kind of like a walrus that's trapped in the splits, and the bus driver that goes around in our neighborhood sees me, and she's like, I saw everything. Are you okay? And I'm like, if you would have recorded that, I could have been on America's Funniest Home Videos. It hurt like hell, but like I'm scooting out, like grabbing at the cement like it's quicksand, trying to get off of this oil slick. So that's how I started my Mother's Day weekend, was like with a bum leg.
And the whole time she was laying on the ground, she made that sound like the grape smashing lady from that video. Ooh, 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 ooh. It's hilarious. Okay,
so
Robot Jox.
I just want to say
okay.
that if you have a piece of shit car,
you don't know that it was a piece of shit car.
Street,
You're accusing people without any evidence that it was even actually motor oil. You're not an expert. It could have been cooking oil that somebody spilled out of their trash can when it was being picked up by the trash guy. Stop blaming people that you don't even know. Sam, Robot Jox, go.
Was just random Oilers. Edmonton Oilers in Missouri.
They came in here to beat the Blues. Please start Robot Jox now.
Robot Jox reportedly cost anywhere between 6.5 and 10 million and had a return of 1.3 million, which is not good.
Okay.
However, normally when we talk about these films having a budget of 6.5 to 10 million, we're like, yeah, generally it's going to be way over that. They underestimated, they blew things up, they needed more money. This one probably was really budgeted around 5 to 6.5 million, but then, as we'll find out later, things went south for one Charles Band. We'll start with the question. It will take me quite a while to answer, and I may or may not answer it. You'll just stay with me anyway. Is Pacific Rim Robot Jox 2?
No. Yeah,
Shut up.
Okay.
Shut your face.
Yeah,
Shut your face and listen to the story.
Done. I don't know anything.
Shut up. Shut up. Don't even know. Now it's so much better. They got fucking DDR in there. Jesus Christ with your mouth.
Okay.
Anyway, Charlie Band had been trying to just make movies, which never really works out. Just ask Roger Corman, the late great Roger Corman.
Yes. I went out for my homie.
Went out from a home, and Charles Band interviewed him not very long ago, and that's a fun watch. And in the words of Roger Corman, if you are in the movie business to make money, get out. Get out. If you want to make movies, get ready for pain, but stay in it. By 87, Charles Band had started Empire Pictures from 85, something like that. And because of how unfriendly the whole system was to him, he had kind of gotten into doing everything himself. He was distributing his own stuff. They'd had some pictures that had really done well. Reanimator, Ghoulies killed it, and he was flush with cash. So at this point, he had not only started Urban Classics as a side venture and Infinity Film Sales, which was going to capitalize on distribution routes outside of his own Wizard Video. He had bought the castle from Dino De Laurentiis.
The castle?
Yeah, he had bought Dino's castle.
Like his house that was shaped like a castle?
Castello di Giove, I think is what it's called. Okay. Giove. And he was going to start European distribution. Okay. He started to get overextended. At some point, he's going to sort of get back friendly with Corman or get friendly with Corman for the first time, really. And New World is going to do some of the distributions that he doesn't want to do with Wizard Video. But he is now that he's in Europe, taking money from Credit Lyonnais, I think is how you say it. It's spelled Credit Lyonnais, but they have considered him to be overextended, and they foreclose on his loans in order to basically get all of the properties and distribution rights to the Empire Pictures, which
did they?
He was like, whatever.
Did they take the castle?
I believe he sold the castle. So what's going to happen is that he may or may not have been overextended. I would contend that he was probably going to be good for it. And in the end of the grand scheme of things, when you look at what Credit Lyonnais had done, they were somehow in bed with some asshole trying to make a power play on MGM and did some really questionable things and kind of lost a bunch of money doing that.
Okay, I have a question.
But sure.
If you own a castle and or you own the bank owns the castle, but you live there and you're paying your mortgage on it, and you default and they foreclose and you're like, no, come and take me, you sons of bitches, and you bring up the portcullis and or the drawbridge and drop the portcullis. Does the bank have legal rights to then besiege your castle? You know, can they like stand outside for an extended period of time and like launch dead animals to get you to, we got to get out of here, starve you, you know? Can they do that to foreclose on your, because it's a castle. How are they going to take it? You know, you got to besiege it.
I would think you'd have to besiege it.
You can't just have the sheriff come and knock on the portcullis. There's a fucking moat. He can't get across the goddamn moat. He can't swim.
Through my limited knowledge of this situation, I would think that Charlie had done a pretty good job keeping the things as separate entities as it seems right here. So the castle was originally purchased to be, one, a base of operations in Europe, but two, a place to shoot things.
I just like the idea of a man.
Sort of studio. So the studio's over here. The pictures are over here. The distribution's over here. The prospective picture sales are over here. It's all different entities, and he's into it on Credit Lyonnais for speculative money in terms of them financing the production. So I would assume what ends up happening is that he's like, okay, whatever, this is a bunch of bullshit, and makes it out with his shirt on and starts Full Moon.
Okay.
And Full Moon goes on from there and does whatever. But yes, if you would like to have a happy story, the puppets were defending the castle, and there was like some bank guys that had siege engines, but the little puppet man came and he unscrewed the wheel, and the wheel came off. Brilliant. And the bank guy was like, oh no. That's what's happening
just
here.
Just a little tiny voice from atop a parapet. You'll never take my castle, you fuckers.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
He's right. We will never take this castle. It's too well defended. Tiny enemies. We got to get out of here. Call Joe Dante. He knows what to do. Okay.
So anyway, the 1987, he hasn't officially had anything taken from him yet. So in 1987, they're shopping films at the American Media Market, or American Film Market, which is in Europe, to like, hey, let's sell this for financing, or we were going to distribute this, whatever. Films are kind of produced, made, and sold based on us speculating there. And this was part of the docket that he had. And he had originally passed on this, but I think there's two things that come into factor. One, the Cold War is still kind of good in 86, 87 when he's hearing tale of this. And that's one. Two is that the Transformers franchise, which was crazy popular at that point, had made the really questionable decision of killing Optimus Prime in 1986.
Nobody liked it.
And so he's kind of like, man, there's going to be some kids that want a big robot that they can love. I'll get in bed with this idea.
Well, that makes sense because of the coloring and stuff too.
Yeah. It's not, they're not Voltron-y. The robots themselves aren't very like Voltron, or what was the other one that you could put together and it would be a big robot? Guy controlling, I don't know. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Silverhawks?
Yeah, whatever. These look more like Transformers. They don't look like just robots that fight and maybe break up into little smaller pieces. These are Transformer-esque, as evidenced by...
They have a little transforming sequence, the minor
exactly.
transformation towards the end, which, knowing how he made a film, you're going to end up with the principal puppetry done and the miniature work done prior to the shooting of the live action bit so that you can match that in, because you can't afford to tweak your visual effects or your special effects in this sort of budget filmmaking where you can act around what you've got, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so Stuart Gordon, who is the director of this, was also the director of Reanimator, and From Beyond. Reanimator is one of the reasons why band is doing so well. Probably From Beyond did okay, not great, but he wasn't originally wanting to do it, but then he thought, I think there's this place for this. We'll go ahead and put a flyer on it. The writer, Joe Haldeman, who wrote the novel Forever War, which one day will become a movie. The thing's been in development hell for like 30 years, but one day they're going to get that thing done. Apparently Channing Tatum's going to be in it this time it doesn't get made, but one of these days...
I hope he brings roller skates.
So Haldeman gets the idea, is like, I'll write the screenplay for this based upon another short story or novella he did, but he's going to write a robot picture that's themed for adults that children will enjoy. It's going to hit both markets. However, at this point, Stuart Gordon, I think, is wanting to get out of creature features and maybe get into the big time, and he's wanting to do a kid's movie that adults won't basically hate. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's some conflict there in the final product, but that's going to be exacerbated by when in the middle of the production of this, or really when they're shopping this, and they've done X amount of building the models, done a lot of the shooting for the special effects and visual effects, that Credit Leonis will take over. And then at that point, Stuart Gordon's going to get kind of his run on what they want to do. And the banks could be like, yeah, let's make this as mass market as possible. This all plays out for however long it plays out. And Charlie's decision to make this picture, he's gone, so it doesn't matter. But the reasons that he thought about this being a good idea is, one, the absence of Optimus Prime, and two, the height of the Cold War. And in November 9th, 1989, the demolishing of the Berlin Wall will begin. The nose drop of the Transformers happened faster than anybody thought it was going to happen by killing off Optimus Prime. And in November 21 of 1989, this movie is released right after the Cold War is just like not a thing anymore. It's just gone. Damn it. So the bank themselves have sort of, by stretching this thing out, had band originally done it, if they had gotten the miniatures done by 87, it was coming out later that year, right? Like, he was going to be able to be like, hey kids, here's your Optimus Prime. And he probably would have been able to steer this between the writer and the director in a way that they were both a little bit happier. And he was like, hey kids, here's your Optimus Prime. Make some cash on the deal. Get out of there. Do a classic Charlie move. That didn't happen.
Thanks, David Hasselhoff.
We return to the question. Is Pacific Rim Robot Jox 2? Didn't shut your mouth for a second. Or like 5 more fucking minutes, because I got another page on this shit.
Okay.
If it had been released on schedule, we're thinking it's going to be okay. And with anything that band is doing at this point, he's always thinking about a franchise. He wants to be able to do sequels where he doesn't have anything hardly to do with it all other than like getting the cash out of the deal. So there was already a treatment out. And according to the director or the writer, it was going to be fighting aliens with the giant robots. Well, as I had mentioned, since Credit Leonis had seized the Empire Pictures, they gave all of the rights to a company called Epic Pictures, who dubiously was way further out on their credit. than Charlie was. They had a $60 million line of credit. They foreclosed on Charlie's business, give them the rights of Charlie's Empire Pictures, and then they extend Epic's credit line to $200 million.
Wow.
So, like, hey, you guys don't have any good credit with us. We're going to give you something that probably would have made its money back, and we're going to extend your credit. Why would you do that? I don't know. Probably to make a power play on MGM, which is a story for a different day.
I don't understand banking and their decisions in any way, so whatever.
Well, no, there's a guy out there that's like, oh, I think I'm going to get involved in the movies. Eventually, what's going to happen is all of this will come crashing down, and Credit Lyonnais will lose $5 billion somehow. And
this is 1989, Dr. Evil. There's not $5 billion in the world.
It's sillier than the new Seinfeld cereal movie, probably.
Oh, fuck you. I thought Unfrosted was hilarious. Screw you.
I thought it was hilarious too, but it's silly.
It is very
Those
silly.
people are behaving in a silly way, and these bank jokers are probably doing worse in real life.
Yeah, right.
So Polygram ends up with the library. It goes to MGM, then it comes back to somebody else, then it goes back to MGM. By 98, Polygram gets a hold of much of the library and we're talking about like this major power play that had been made in the movie business by Credit Lyonnais that involves Canon, Vestron, Coralco. We talk about this a little bit, and it's interesting that Robot Jox fits like directly into the center of the hotbed of one of these power plays. But when Polygram ends up going, because guess who they got bought by?
MGM.
Seagram's and Panasonic apparently teamed up to dip their fingers into the movie.
Seagram's.
The whiskey people and the VCR people. I can get the VCR people. I can get why they're there. What are the whiskey people doing here? What are the whiskey people doing here? Why was Coca-Cola needing a movie to repatriate money? I mean, these are very strange things that are afoot in the movie business.
The Shining 2, brought to you by Bartles and James.
and James.
And Zima.
God, it's a good thing they never raised the price on that wine. Otherwise, Chinatown 16. More wine, please.
Nope, you're banned. The alcohol people, you're banned from the movies. Don't do it.
Anyway, in 98, a lot of this goes back to MGM, who unfortunately has a distribution deal with Warner. And this is where I was thinking, because at that time, Seagram's and Panasonic owned Universal. I didn't have any idea that at one point a conglomeration between Seagram whiskey people and the VCR people owned Universal and Universal Studios and that whole thing. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, goddamn.
It's so ridiculous. But anyway, this distribution deal is settled in a lawsuit where Orion becomes the overseer or the name for a lot of this library distribution picture stuff. But because it's settled in a lawsuit, what you can only trace is the library. You can't trace any of the sort of what Hollywood would consider draft picks, which is undeveloped projects, which change hands in very dark corners of these deals. But you've all of a sudden got Universal and Warner out there as people that have their mitts on this business at some level. February 2006, Guillermo del Toro and Travis Beacham were collaborating on Killing on Carnival Row. It falls through. Beacham says that his main idea for this was when he was sitting in Santa Monica and he thought about giant robots fighting aliens right off the pier.
Okay.
Why would he think about something like this? This is where I'm going to go into very broad speculation in that, because everybody wants to see some sort of connection here. And this is the best connection I can give these people hoping for that connection is that, yes, there were lawsuits. An unrealized project that had a treatment can change hands through backdoor routes many times, and those routes here have now been established. And a guy that just lost a picture because of it being in development hell, because it was his own his own project. It was his own intellectual. It was his own IP, his intellectual property. What's the fastest way to get greenlit? If it's already sitting there. It's already sitting there. And if you and I, when Pacific Rim came out, and I'm like, what the fuck are they doing Robot Jox for? Nobody liked this shit. Right? Like, what world does Pacific Rim get made in other than a world where it's sitting there and it can fill a budgetary requirement for a special effects release date of a certain, like, we're going to make this for half as much as a blockbuster and we'll release it against this crop of other films that the other studios are doing, made by two people that just went into development hell for a couple years on a picture. It all starts to line up.
See, you see Robot Jox when you see Pacific Rim, but I just see Power Rangers. Like, that was the Power Rangers. Robots fighting kaiju. And doing karate on the side.
Well, I'm also trying to serve the internet fan base some bone. I'm throwing them a bone here. Like, yeah, there may be a situation where this happens. Was that the one that the connection that I see the most, because they had to be plugged in, is Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's directly from that, right?
Okay.
But I mean, it's more Neon Genesis Evangelion than anything. Only there's DDR bullshit driving, and it's like
Charlie
not
Day
half as cool. It's
suicide.
Like 1% of 1% as cool as Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think Pacific Rim is totally dumb.
I think it sucks ass. I think it sucks.
It's terrible.
Like, not even. I mean, I actually kind of hate it because, again, I was just talking about Charlie Day. Guy fucking killed his career. Funniest guy. And like, I'm gonna do Pacific. Why don't do kaiju movies like the new Godzilla versus Gorilla Guy X
Team Up versus
Lizard Guy
Monster
X
Gojira.
Nobody's in
it.
Nobody. There is nobody in it, and I'm like, good
idea.
Just, we're not here for the actors, dumb shits. Save the money and stop throwing your, like, oh, I'm going to grab onto that tail of that big old lizard and ride him through into the sunset on my career. No, Cranston, don't be in a fucking Godzilla movie. It's a bad idea unless you're a Japanese actor, and then you can do whatever you want. If it's a Tohei or a Tojo movie, or Tohei, whichever.
Tohei.
Who's doing the Godzillas?
Toho and Tohei. There's two of them,
yeah.
but I can't remember which one did Godzilla.
Gojira. Do whatever you want over there, but here, don't commit career suicide. We need shitty actors in these movies because it's fine. We're not here for the actors.
It's harder to tell the actor not to commit career suicide when they get offered that chunk of money. It's just like, if you're going to make a movie about Godzilla, don't make it about not him.
Right. Yeah.
Right. No one cares about not Godzilla when they go to a Godzilla movie.
You know what? I'm fine with Aaron Taylor Johnson being in a Godzilla movie because that guy stinks and he just stinks. Go away over there.
You're so good in Bullet Train.
Oh, he was good. God damn it. Maybe I do like him. Shit, I forgot about Bullet Train. Okay. Robot Jox. They're
talking about him being the new Bond, and I'm like, that's not terrible all of a sudden.
But fucking Quicksilver. God damn.
That's not his fault.
I mean, but he
sucks.
He sucked too. Anyways, well, let's move on.
So those are the coincidences I have. Did you guys recognize Gary Graham, the lead?
No, he stunk. He like I
thought that was Billy Bob Thornton.
No,
Jesus.
Just like, I don't know. He's just such an ugly dude that I was like, yeah, that looks like him.
Ladies love Billy Bob, Jackie. They think he's a handsome man.
He's gross.
He's a righteous dude.
Okay.
I'm 50-50 on Billy Bob, but Gary Graham, I'm not 50-50. I'm out on him. I did not like him. That is an uncharismatic actor.
Do you remember Alien Nation, the series?
Nope.
He was the main guy in that.
Okay, I can see it.
So the guy that played whatever, who's the bad guy?
Alexander.
Mm-hmm. Paul Kozlow. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? The guy's been in everything. He was in Vanishing Point, Omega Man. He's in lots of shit. And I was like, how about that?
He was good. He was fine.
guy that's Tex is the lawyer in Scarface, Michael Aldridge. Anne-Marie Johnson was interesting because I could recognize her, but I didn't know from where. And it's because she's in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker and Hollywood Shuffle, the Robert Townsend movie.
Okay.
So she actually was in those before this. So she probably was going to be an up-and-comer and then did Robot Jox, and it just, the stock market bottomed out.
Everybody saw her butt and was like,
Also, if we're wondering about the Pacific Rim thing, Charlie made a movie in 1990 called Crash and Burn.
Okay.
And then in other markets where he wouldn't have been sued, called it Robot Jox 2, Crash and Burn. So there's that out there.
Okay. Maybe we'll have to look into Crash and Burn. My alternate cold open for this episode was Crash and Burn, more like crash and put your ass on 300 people. And then I was like, that's really stupid. That's so stupid. It's called Robot Jox. Let's go with the jock thing. Anyways, Crash and Burn.
Your jock strap is made of people. It's people.
Gross.
Jackie and I already discussed this, but we'll rehash it for the podcast. And it's interesting that you talk about a toy line, Sam, because there is a serious air of Megaforce throughout this entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it feels Megaforce-y. It's way not as good as Megaforce. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Sorry, Bamfcast, former Bamfcast. But, like, the thumbs up, continual thumbs up, this, like, underground paramilitary group working to save the world. Yes, the world's already been destroyed, and yes, they're sanctioned by the U.S. government. They're not quite as secretive as Megaforce, but there's a whole, like, underground team to support the jocks, and everybody has their own personality and their own Texas kind of way. There's a guy named Tex in both goddamn fucking movies. It just feels Megaforce-y.
And there's also, they mingle they drink at the same bar, so there's almost that sort of
the same bar.
Good guy, bad guy tomfoolery that happens in Megaforce as well.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting, and they're both movies geared towards selling toys that never materialized.
Maybe geared towards selling toys. I think that Band would have been like, okay, I'll take the toy deal, and he would have never tried to distribute the toys himself. But I think he was really just trying to fill a theater slot that he felt like could have been filled by a live Optimus Prime.
Yeah. And
whatever chips fell after that, he would have been fine with.
Right. But okay, and then secondly, let's talk about the stop motion. I was actually pretty impressed with the stop motion in this.
Yes.
It's incredibly smooth. There's some of it. If you told me that it was animated, I would have been like, okay, because it's that smooth. Like, very sorry, Harryhausen. It's just not choppy. It looks great. Jackie, did you have any problems with the special effects?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, it looked super fake and weird, and like the matting was off. So like
the matting's a little off, yeah.
Like in some shots, like when they're raising the robot up from the bunker or whatever, and there are people standing at the top, and the people look too big against the robot because it's like, oh nope, this is okay.
And the people aren't looking in the right.
Roll with it.
They're watching the robot come up, but their heads are like looking way above the robot. But as far as when the robot moves itself is what I'm getting at. I thought that looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things where Band may have been hesitant at first because he knew that he was going to have to do like full animation, stop motion in terms of probably shooting 35 millimeter and also doing a full 12 shots per second versus like cutting that down to 6 and calling it good.
Yeah. That's a lot of work. It's not like the movie's chock full of robot fights, but the final battle's probably 15 minutes?
I thought the final battle looked good.
I thought it did too. And it
aged
long well. And God, what the hell was I was just listening to a podcast and they were talking about stop motion. King Kong, 1933's King Kong, and the Empire State Building sequence of King Kong. No, I'm sorry. Back that up. The T-Rex versus King Kong fight took an entire year, 52 weeks of stop motion filming to get just that one piece done. The tedium and the patience that is required to do stop motion animation. I'm not glad that there's CGI, but I bet you there's a lot less like strokes for people because of CGI.
It's a lot less because you're building, like now especially, you'd have to computer model it anyway, or at least get a rough sketch of what you're going to sculpt for your miniatures. Uh-huh. But now with computer animation, it's the rendering time that you're up against. So if you make the model in the computer, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I can move it around however I want now. I don't have to worry so much about also if I drop it.
Right. Could you
imagine?
It
catches on fire because I made it out of flammable products.
You're week 50 of filming the T-Rex series, and Gary, the intern, comes in and is like, hey, guys, I'm here to grab the films. And then he falls down the stairs, and all the canisters fall out, and an entire year of your life has been thrown in the trash thanks to Gary, the intern.
Yeah.
No. No.
Exactly.
No more.
When Kubo and the Two Strings, I watched them make that in a little mini documentary, and to get what they needed out of that giant skull sequence, they actually built a robotic marionette system so they could do it a couple times, or at least have the option, right?
Yeah.
Like the amount of work that it goes in to do stop motion is incredible.
It's insane. Totally insane. Okay, Robot Jox, let's do this. We're quite behind. So the world here, it's Jackie's favorite. It's a PA film. Little different than your average PA film, though, Jackie. I'm not really sure. So the world got exploded. Yeah. And everybody said, okay, that sucked pretty hard. Let's not do that again. So war is banned. We're just going to ban war. Let's just do that. And if you don't like us, Russia or Iran or China or North Korea, you're going to have to put up your dukes. Mano y mano. In this corner, we've got Mike Tyson. And in that corner, we've got Dolph Lundgren's character. God damn it. Jesus Christ, why can't I think of his name? But they're both robots. And they got to duke it out. Robot fighting to the death, maybe. But there's also referees. Like, the fact that there's referees bothers me a lot. Because basically, the referees are controlling the goddamn world. If disputes over land, for instance, say Alaska, is happening between two countries, the refs totally get to decide who gets that country.
Yeah. Who are the refs?
Who are the refs?
I want to save a lot of the questions I have for world building at the end because I've come up with some plausible scenarios on how this shit works.
Okay, all right.
But that's where we're at, is that World War III happened, and now we have Robot Jox deciding the fate. Also, go ahead and gamble on this.
Yeah, it seems like Earth is fine now. This is a post-apocalyptic movie where, it seems like people are poor, but it's not all. You're not wandering the wasteland and like there's zombies everywhere. It's just like you're living in a not great Earth. But
Earth isn't good. Earth is bad because Siberia is a desert now.
Oh, okay.
Remember, they're fighting in Siberia, and it's just a dirt.
Yeah,
desert.
but people have money to gamble.
Pretty fucked up.
I mean,
you have to read between.
There's a whole system
it's
of
not
economy.
Clear, right?
You've got TVs everywhere. The whole Earth treats the Robot Jox battles like it's the fucking Running Man, so they've got entertainment. I'm saying for a PA movie, I prefer living on Earth Robot Jox more than I would very much prefer of like Warriors of the Wasteland or something. And I'm assuming Jackie would too, because she hates those movies.
That's true.
You got flying cars and
flying fucking cars. I mean, it's fine.
corporate control of everything, so I guess things are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's living in shithole apartments and has to wear masks because the pollution is so bad. It's not as bad as most post-apocalyptic movies, but it was still just kind of fucking stupid.
We should note that Jackie got post-apocalyptic right on the first try.
Thank you.
Proud of you, lady. It's a slick tongue
every
you
once
got.
in a while.
All right. So I guess the Confederation, I'm assuming that they're supposed to be Ruskies or some visage of the Ruskies. Their main guy is a guy named Alexander, and he's a real dick. He's a robot jock that doesn't play by the rules. He's out for blood and domination. And the last fight that he is in when this film starts, he's got a man on the ground and a guy's in his cockpit, and he's like, "Hey, man, my robot's all destroyed, bro. You won, fair and square. Let's call it good." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, buddy, smush."
It goes throughout the whole film, though, that you're like, but what is their life after this? There's almost shades of like Rollerball, the original Rollerball with James Caan in there, where it's like you've got a contract, but what did that get you at? Like, there's so many questions that you have unanswered here because it just glosses over all this. Like, I ended up falling asleep on the first part because I was really tired, and I watched it again this morning. And I'm like, having seen most of it recently and then watching the beginning over again, I'm almost like, does he really actually just feel like he's doing him a favor, though?
Oh, like it is mercy?
Yeah, like he's like, my back's broken, and he's like, I'm in bloodlust because I'm robot jocking my balls off here, but I'm just going to kill you. And at the end, he's always like, we're already dead.
Interesting.
So, and we'll get to that later, but like, question right now that we won't even answer, but like, does Alexander feel like he's actually doing these guys a favor by killing him?
It's a hot take. Because the movie, the Americans paint him as, you know, he's a villainous, bloodlusting, God, this guy, he didn't have to do that type thing. Which the he didn't have to do that line is uttered by Tex. Okay. So we meet the Americans. Their main guy is Achilles. He's the best fighter that's ever been a robot jocker. For some reason, he's not like the go-to fight Alexander. Their best, like I don't know.
Well, they mention he's like, we're only going to put Alexander because they've only got one fight with Achilles left on his deal.
Oh,
and they're like, we're only going to put, and that you're going to die. Like there's a 25% chance that you're going to die. And he's already beat the odds twice over that there's going to be a fight over the whole of Alaska's resource rights here. Pretty good. So they're saving him for that.
Okay. All right.
And also I need to mention that because Alexander had demanded judgment before he killed the man, this is operating largely under WWF rules. Even after it's decided, just go ahead and whack him with the chair. Just because you don't like him. Yeah.
And start with the lower tier guys. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you took Alaska this week. Well, we're gonna raise. Oh, now we've got the guy that eats the Junkyard Dog. We've got Junkyard Dog to fight you. Oh no, the Iron Sheik beat Junkyard Dog. Okay, well, we got a couple more rounds before we're bringing in Macho Man. But we're going to bring in Macho Man at the end of this.
From the looks of this guy's robot that's smashed on the ground and what Alexander has going on, this is sort of like Bill Goldberg versus William Regal.
Yeah.
Is what we've got here.
Yeah, right. William Regal. Okay, so the Americans are like, yeah, well, how come he keeps winning when we've got superior weaponry? The only way that that could be is he's blocking our superior weaponry with defenses that only could be because there's a mole inside that's sending our new tech over so that they have defenses. Put a pin in that. I like that Achilles trains to be a robot jock by doing karate with
Did you know
other people, not robots?
that originally the cast came down between Gary Graham and one Jean-Claude Van Damme, and they chose Graham instead.
Good for JCVD probably.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, how's karate sparring going to help you in a robot fight?
Well, they are using their limbs they have like handles.
Yeah, but they don't do
So it's
karate fighting with the robots. They just use weapons.
But they're moving their arms and legs. Like when Alexander's stepping on somebody, he's lifting his actual foot. They're clipped in from the side, so their arms and legs move the robot's arms and legs.
Got it. At no point do they move their arms and legs in a karate-esque manner.
No,
They're saving that for later.
They should be training in a simulator against other robots. That is how you would do this.
Putting ankle weights and 5-pound weights in their hands and arms so that they are strong at moving those things around better.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, and there's a girl there. Oh, man, hey, who let that girl in here? And she's instantly sexually harassed. It's terrible. They're like, well, we want to make a new line of Robot Jox fighters, and the way we're going to do that is eugenics. And he's like, okay, well, I'm your hero. Hey, can I just dump a load of fucking sperm in that lady over there without her consent? And everybody's like, oh, Achilles, you cad, you. And she's like,
she's not.
She's like, hello, I actually work here. I'm a trained, qualified robot jockist. How about that guy fucks off? They're like,
she's
no.
a test
Yeah,
tube baby.
but then she wants to do him later. So
Yeah, because it's the fucking 80s and it's gross.
It's gross. But she's also not really human, according to Tex, because he's a shithead.
She's eugenicized. She's a product of eugenics.
She's a
as well.
Tubi,
Yeah.
which we watched on Tubi, which is fun.
There's a connection. So she's a test tubey. And that makes her
we
not
watched
human.
it on Tubi TV.
Tubi TV's not human, but being a test tube baby makes you not human, Sam?
She's totally human. Tex is a shithead, is what I'm saying.
Ah, okay. He is a shithead, indeed.
He doesn't insinuate that he would be able to inseminate naturally because he's a shithead and even he knows that. He's like, I'd put it in her, but she wouldn't let me. Oh, damn it.
All right, so it's fight time for Alaska. Alexander versus Achilles, and they raise up the robot. He's in it, Achilles. And whole country's watching, gambling. And Achilles gets inside his mech, the Matsubutu 14. I thought the mech's names were going to matter, but they really don't.
Did you not?
And they walk out to each other, and they start out with firing cannons and missiles and guns and lasers. And they're blocking each other's lasers, and they're like, oh, release a secret weapon. What is it? It's a green laser. Oh, God, we've got them now. But the Confederation has got their mole guy who said, oh, this is how you stop green lasers. Shit, we didn't know there was a way to stop green lasers. Try purple lasers.
Especially with the way the last one sort of looks like it played out, that what happens is that the scientists get all gung-ho with these secret weapons, and they stand across from each other completely stationary, release all the secret weapons, none of them do a fucking thing, and then they just start punching each other.
It's basically like the American Revolution, where they just line up on rows and just blast each other, except for everybody died when that happened. So, but not great combating. And then the refs are like, bullshit lasers. We saw it. That is our signal to eliminate the long-range weapon round. Now you guys must just pummel each other with your fists. Fucking refs, man. What? No, there's no refs. This is basically the replacement to war. Like, this is a cleaned up version. You refs get in here and you start pissing everybody off with these fucking rules and like subjective calls and stuff like foul. No, that wasn't a fucking foul. You're just gonna end up starting wars again. You know? LA, Boston. Not good, refs. It's all your fault. World War IV. That was a touchdown, son. Calvin Johnson caught that fucking football, you pricks.
Yeah, I sure did.
Okay. Weapons round is over. Beat each other up. And so Achilles goes down and he manages to cut Alexander's leg. And so now he's going down. But as he goes down, he launches his fist because he's got a gun fist.
A missile fist.
Missile fist. But it doesn't work and it's out of control and it's coming right for the stands. Oh no, there's a fist coming at us. And Achilles is like, my God, that fist is going to kill like 6 people if it hits that bandstand. I'll block it with my giant robot body that blasts into his chest and he falls over and crushes 300 people.
It seems more like what happens, and where it hits him, how tall the robots are, and where the bleachers are, is what he does. He gets in front of it and gets knocked in and kills all these people. Uh-huh. Whereas if he would have done nothing, it probably would have just sailed over the top of him.
It could have sailed, but it's a fist. If it's part of a robot, a very small part, let's say 3% of a robot's entire body mass, that he blocks and knocks an entire robot into the stands. This was a bad call.
It sure is. Even if later in the movie, there's more to the fist. So like maybe he thought it was going to blow up or something, but either way, it's a really, one, he doesn't win, and 2, he actually kills all of the people he's trying to save.
Yeah. I mean, like, he doesn't do anything. He wins. He wins outright. The guy's got no hand. He's on his ass. You're still good because you just got knocked down. You're fine. Get back up, Achilles. And Alexander's dead or defeated or whatever. Yay, we got Alaska. And for its resources, not to liberate it, to save its people from an oppressive government. Just let's get its resources. But yay, we got it. Yeah, sure, 6 people died in the stands by a fist, but that's that guy's fault.
Or it sailed over the top of them. And they're also...
That's best case. I'm saying worst case is like 6 people.
They've showed up to an event where they're probably going to get nuked by some bullshit.
Right.
Like, don't go.
Yeah. I mean, like, he deflects a laser off his arm, and it's like, and the laser's like shooting all over the place, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, we got cut in half. But, I mean, they all signed waivers.
And why does this, I guess this is a big one, so it's got a crowd, because the first one, they're just out in the woods in the snow fighting.
Right, yeah. This is in Death Valley. Okay, so he's like, the refs have a conference and they're like, well, it sucks that all those people died because you're a fucking idiot. That's fucking stupid, man. Why would you do anyways? But it has no bears relevance on anything. Neither fighter was defeated. So this one's a draw. You guys are going to have to rematch in 1 week. And Achilles is like, no, I'm sorry. That was my 10th fight. I'm done because this is such anguish. It's anguish to me. It's not fucking Deathrace, bud. It seems like for the most part, if it wasn't for Alexander, you'd go out in a big robot suit, control this robot, punch a guy, and then go home. After somebody you both go home for the most part if it wasn't for Alexander. Like, it's not, I'm done with this shit. It's grueling. It's like the Running Man. Everybody dies, and it's just robots fighting. I've seen robot
He's got
wars.
Scars, but they don't seem that bad.
Yeah. I mean, get one of those balls that, like, you know, when you fall out of a plane and it inflates like James Bond and you just roll down the hill safely. Fight in one of those.
It also doesn't really do anything to, like, It doesn't make him a character at all. It doesn't make any sense because, like, we talked about Rollerball a little bit ago. Like, James Caan's like, he knows it sucks. He knows he's going to die, but he still wants to be out there because his life is going to be worse. And we see, like, right after this, he's going to go to his sister's house. And his life is markedly worse. I guess we'll talk about that when we get there. But.
Well, first, he's got to go to the bar. And he gets all shit-faced. Alexander comes in and starts talking shit, and he's going to try to fight him, but Achilles is too drunk to fight, so he wakes up the next morning buck naked with Athena, the lady there, the lady fighter, and she's like, oh, hey, I brought you home, and then I watched you sleep.
She like stared at his body all night. She was like, and then I looked at your wiener for 8 hours. I didn't touch it though.
You were sleeping and I watched it. So he's like, that's pretty weird. Not as weird as me putting on this jumpsuit with no undies on. That's not comfortable. The beans are definitely going to get above the Franks in that scenario. And like, even if the beans are good, chest hair is just like the whole thing. You got to put on underoos and at least a tank top before you put on a jumpsuit. That's jumpsuit 101, bud.
They're all wearing those tights underneath there. He's just being weird when he gets dressed.
I think he's just trying to get dressed because he feels awkward and he wants her to leave.
She's like, well, you're a coward. And he's like, oh, I'm not a coward. Contracts. So then he stops by the locker room. And she's there getting naked and showered and whatever. And he's like, hey, I brought you something. She's like, what is it? He's like, Justin thinks it's a blanket?
It's his scarf.
What?
It's a scarf.
Yeah.
What scarf?
Yeah.
Tex and him from the original team wear white silk scarves like they're
Ascots.
Charlton Heston Robot Jox.
Oh, man, I totally didn't pick up on that. I just thought he like hung a white blanket up on her locker room. Like, here you go, in case you get cold. It's my lucky charm. It's my binky. Like Linus.
What is it? It's my sumo diaper. Smell it.
For luck. So he goes for a drive and his car sucks. Let's talk about his car.
It sucks.
It sucks. It blows fucking carbon all way worse than our cars. Like the reason the fucking planet sucks is because of your fucking bullshit Tesla, you son of a bitch. It flies. And you can't operate the doors without carrying a giant fob with you. And I mean like a brick phone's fob. And it's like one of those, like, oh, I'm going fishing back in the 80s and I've got a portable radio so that we can listen to AM radio while fishing. Watch it, listen to the game. It's an entire fucking radio with an extendable antenna that you have to have in your pocket to close your door because it's the future. Yep. This car sucks.
Yes, it does. It's also not very roomy.
No. But speaking of room, he goes to his brother's and he's got 6 kids and they live in an apartment that they have 3 bedrooms, I guess.
No, they're like going to get 3 bedrooms because they're going to have 6 kids.
So is it implied that like it's rationing, like the government rations your living accommodations based off how many kids you have?
Like reverse rationing. It's a like a breeding incentive. There's all sorts of little snippets here that are like, oh, I bet there was some really good science fiction on the first version of this screenplay that didn't make it here. But they've got, if you have, in order to repopulate this decimated world that we never really see, you get more stuff the more kids you have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sounds... I mean, yeah, it's not great for the ladies. I mean, they get Mother's Day. They get rewards for being a mom. It's hard work. Not as much.
One day where you don't get treated like dirt. Oh, wait.
Yeah, it's not as rewarding as it could be.
My kid shoved cereal behind a couch, And so I had to spend Mother's Day cleaning up ants.
Yeah, but if you got 6 of them, you might get a 28-inch TV. Huh? Can we tempt you with a 28-inch RCA? Huh?
I would rather have a dishwasher.
Well,
can I have a dishwasher?
You're going to have to step it up to about 10 kids there, Mom. Hope that vagina's stretchy because dishwashers are expensive.
Just make one of the kids a dishwasher.
You do that, but the water's toxic because it's, irradiated.
So I didn't say you had to keep the kids alive.
I'm assuming that you got to keep the kids alive. Like,
right.
You're running out of kids here. We're going to have to take that flying piece of shit Tesla back. Okay, we got to have your Cybertruck back.
Did you notice that his brother's job is a reader?
He's a reader, not a writer, a reader.
But he also says earlier in the film that he can't read.
Yep.
Yeah, he can't. Major information control happening. There's a lot of science fiction that could have been done here that's getting glossed over.
When he's getting hassled by the other jocks in the locker room, they put, a devil face on his poster and they write coward, but coward is spelled wrong. So even the people that can read aren't very good at it. I don't know what you get for reading,
So then he sees that and it says coward and he doesn't know what he's just like, they put a mustache on me. God damn it.
Because he can't read. So he's like, why did they draw devil horns on me?
Maybe it's because I'm
that's
badass.
Not good.
Maybe it's badass.
I don't know. He's an idiot. Okay, dinner's brought out at his brother's. We're having meat, real meat tonight, guys, not artificial meat, which I would prefer artificial meat into the future. And it opens up the pot and tasty.
It's 1 hot dog and a pot of baked beans.
Chili. They're going to split a chili dog 8 ways.
Yep.
This is the like when you have 6 kids and you live in a freaking mobile home. This is what you get every night. Like that's authentic. Like, all right, shut up, kids. Here's your dick dog and chili. You pass over the styrofoam cup. Here you go, Bobby Joe. Here's yours. Here's your cup, Sally Joe. Fucking little white trash kid. Okay. So back at Jock's training camp, the jocks that are left, they have to basically climb the rope ladder, but it's a death rope ladder to get to the top to determine who's going to be the next top jock.
The jungle gym of death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's totally stupid. You were bitching about them training for karate to pilot the robots. Now that's like, if you're going to be a master robot pilot, you need to climb this jungle gym against other people, and there's going to be weird bullshit that happens.
Yeah. And it's like trying to get to Carousel. There's just this hole in the roof with a glowy thing, and they're like, I got to get to the top. Yeah, it's going to be awesome once I get up there. But they've got like American Gladiator style traps along the way. Like the pipes get hot or they get slippery with water. One of them just falls out and the guy, number one shit talker, second jock is like, falls to his death.
Number one shit talker.
Anything happens that's bullshit with the jungle gym, they're like, well, we just got to that's it. And he's like, yeah, that's it. Just get to the top. And right when they start, the whole room starts shaking and like all sorts of like horrible noises start happening.
Right.
Like before any of the other traps, it's just like vibration and loud noises.
Oh God, this is hard. And it seems like the room is padded as well. It looks like it's pretty cushy.
Yeah.
So if you fall, like I hope you don't die. Why would we die? Whatever. Athena, she wins, and so now she's the new top jock. And but Achilles sees it on the news and he's like, wait a minute. I said that lady could never be a robot jock on account of her vagina. I don't like it. So he unretires. He goes into the office and he's like, hey, I was thinking about coming back. And they're like, well, we already have a new quarterback for the Packers. He's this anti-vaxxer guy that's pretty good. We think we can win some Super Bowls. Why don't you go play for the Saints? And so he goes down to the Saints, and they're like, well, no, we know you live around here, but we got Drew Brees. And he's like, but I'm Achilles. And they're like, okay, you can have your Matsumoto 14 back. You're our number one guy, said the Vikings. And he did really good there in Minnesota. Okay, there's no bleachers this time. He's like, no bleachers, right? Because on account of my robot ass squishing the kids.
Mm-hmm. He has a crazy nuke nightmare about it.
Yeah. The children, my robot ass. Fell down, went boom, boom. And this time, there's not going to be any security leaks because Matsumoto, the chief weapons engineer, the engineer of the whole robot, is going to not reveal the new weapon until it's the day of the fight, and he's only going to reveal it to Achilles. So that problem's solved, right? At the bar, Alexander, he comes in, he talks some more shit, and then because they just hang out together at the bar. That's how Russia or Confederation and USA hang out. Tex comes over to the Matsumoto's office, and he's like, hey, so about that secret tech, you want to talk about it? He's like, you know what I'd rather talk about? How you're the goddamn mole. Pulls a gun on him. Tex is like, I'm not the mole. Yeah, because at the last fight, there was only one place that this guy could get shot at that was a weakness, and sure shit, he got shot there. And he's like, no, the last fight, the guy fell down and crushed 300 people with his ass. Oh, I meant the fight before that. And so he's like, yeah, well, you got me. Let me take my big old cowboy hat off and swipe your gun with it. Fucking dumb. Fucking stupid. His cowboy hat stole his gun.
Dr. Matsumoto was not prepared for that.
God, I should have saw that coming, Tex, with your giant cowboy hat. The only thing that identifies you as a human and makes you is your name and your dumbass cowboy hat. And you took my gun. You got me, you tricky bastard. Wasn't even a trick. You just took off your cowboy hat and went, whoa, I got your gun. I should have sat further away from you, you know? That's on me. I went into this. I'm a little hungover. Didn't have enough coffee. Can we start over? Can I have the gun back? Because I'd like to have the gun back. No? Shit.
Either way, he starts videotaping what's happening here.
Yeah. Because he was giving the instructions on the secret weapon before Tex walked in.
Yeah.
On camera. So he gets shot in the face. He's dead. It's all on camera. Athena, she goes to visit Achilles, and she's like, hey, remember when I saw your penis and you saw my butt? Maybe we could, I got you. I shot you in the back with a dart. You're sleepy. And he's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, then he gets up and fights, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure a sedative like that gets you within 5 seconds.
God.
And he's like, no, karate chop and ruin my apartment and kick my walls in because apparently they're made out of paper.
Yes. Kicking the walls in. We need to remember that for later.
Right.
And I'm like, this seems like a really shitty setup. Like anybody can walk by and hear exactly what you're doing in your little apartment, right? Mm-hmm. And they break his aquarium table, and he's like, no, bitch, I'm gonna, and then he's like he like pins her down on the bed, and he's like, I love you, but he doesn't say that. He just kind of gets this rapey vibe about him, and
totally.
So she bites him, right? Like, no, go fuck yourself.
She knees him right in the balls. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Like he's thinking this is romantic, and she's like, I don't think so, motherfucker. And then she runs away from the bed, but at this point in time, I guess the sedative is officially kicked in.
Oh, it's
so
the balls.
He's crawling
it's
towards
the balls. He
towards the door.
He took a strong knee to the balls from a lady that knows karate. He's in rough shape.
Do you think they went up inside?
Yeah, probably.
And he had to go have him removed?
Yeah, well, she grabs his key card and then she locks him in the room by doing the R2-D2 thing where you just blow up the control panel and that locks the door. And then she gets into a Robot Jox suit and heads toward the mech because it's fight day. And everybody's like, hey, Achilles, you lost a lot of weight. Like, you're very slender. I like your hips. It's a nice hourglass figure you're going for there, Achilles the man. Yep, that's me, Achilles. Doo-doo-doo, I've been on Slim Fast now.
At least they're the same height. That helps a little bit, right?
That helps, yeah.
It's baggy clothing, a lot of armor for no reason.
So she gets up to the mech and... Oh, go ahead.
But then she gets discovered because the one guy who always slaps him on the ass as he's going into battle is like, wait a second, that's not Achilles' ass.
I know that ass, and that is not Achilles' ass.
Get her!
Wait a second, it moved. You're a lady.
Soft and supple instead of crunchy and hairy. My hand doesn't smell bad now. That's a lady. So she karate chops all them and gets into the thing, and they know that she's in the mech now, and Achilles is trapped back in his room. How am I going to get out of here? God damn it, she locked the door. You got a hole in your house.
This is what I don't get, is that he goes to the broken wall window thing, right? Where I guess it was the wall. And he looks around like, I don't know, this is too tall for me to get out of. Like,
just go to where the door is. Just go out of your room and then walk over to the hallway.
Well, just go out of the broken window thing.
Go out of the room that is broken.
And he's like clutching the door like, oh God. And he's like, I gotta get out of here. And he's like, I know what to do. Instead of just pushing my couch over to the hole that's already in the wall and just kind of jumping off.
Right.
I'll get my car to come and run into the building.
There's a hole in the wall right next to the door.
You already got a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
It's right next to the door. Like, he's like, oh, I can't get this door open. The draft is blowing in my face. Let me call my car.
You know what it is. And so he's got a Tesla, right? He's got a Cybertruck sedan. It's one of Elon's new genius ideas. And so he goes to his giant calculator that can control his car. But really, he was just looking for the door controls to his house. And the car is like self-driving mode. Because it's Tesla and they crash in self-driving.
Yep.
He's lucky to be alive. Burned to the
and
ground.
He yells at his car. Why'd you do that? There's already a hole in the wall.
I'm a Tesla. Okay, so Athena, she climbs up out of the ground because they're like, oh, you can't go fight. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'll just climb out of here. So she climbs out. She kills like 10 guys on the way out. And the fight is on. The secret weapon video plays, and it's in her headset and on the HQ, and they all see the Tex kills the Matsumoto guy. And he's like, you can't arrest me. Guards, seize him. And he's like, no. And knocks over these two guards with fucking ease. And is like, he'll never take me alive. And jumps into the place where the mechs are kept and falls to his death. And I like that, Achilles runs over to like, oh, God, that's gruesome. His guts are everywhere. I had to see it just to make sure that son of a bitch was dead. But boy, did that make a mess. And the guard that like got knocked over is just looking at him like, sorry about that. I'm not very good at guarding. It's pretty funny, I thought. So Alexander flies in his mech.
So what does Tex get for being a spy?
Betraying his country and a traitor?
Because he's already it seems like they're living in the lap of luxury, the most luxury that you can have, because the whole fate of everything is based on these stupid bullshit robot fights. Mm-hmm. What does he get more than that he just decides to kill himself when he's discovered? What would you possibly get? Pie? Is there no pie left?
I did it all for pie. I wonder if it was peach cobbler. I haven't had peach cobbler in a long time. I'm sick of lemon meringue. I'd kill myself for some peach cobbler. Okay. Yeah, pie. I'll go with pie. There's no pie. There's no pie in America, Sam. We're out of pie. This country's closed down. Don't come here. So Alexander flies in his robot because it can do that now. And he launches missiles again and guns and stuff. And she's like, use the secret weapon. And it's a bright light. And Alexander's like, it's bright and shiny. They're like, yay, we got him. And then Alexander's like, no, I closed my eyes. I'm good now.
It doesn't work as intended. He's going to be blind for 90 seconds, and he's blind for 2 seconds.
Right? I put down my visor. I'm A-okay. And so he's
also lines up with all the other secret weapons not doing a goddamn thing.
It wasn't Tex that was ruining this. They're just bullshit.
Yeah. And the Russians have actually done something, or the Confederation's done something, because they're like, oh, last time Achilles cut off one of his legs, so now he's got 4 legs. Cut all those legs off, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. So he punches her, tackles her. She goes down, and she saws his arm off with one of those belt saw blades.
A bolo saw is what they call it.
I like that.
Which I think would take a long time, but in this instance, only 3 tugs.
And he's like, that's okay, I've got another arm. And this one, even though I was punching you with heavy fists, King Kong style, now I've got this hydraulic jackhammer fist where I don't even have to move. I can just stand here and it just goes thunk, 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 thunk on you.
It looks super dumb, but he's punching right into the cabin of the pilot. So yeah, but I'll give it that.
Why not dumb. Use your actual fists? You don't need a
very precise motion.
I'll take a break over here while this thing just goes thunk, 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 thunk on you. And they're like, oh God, save her. So Achilles, he gets in his car because I guess it's okay. And
sure.
It's bulletproof. You could throw a rock at it.
The walls were made of fabric.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Yeah, that's a good point there. Elon designed a car that can go through fabric. So he gets in his car and the refs are like, hey, look, man, she's down. She's unconscious. We're going to call this fight. You can't kill her because you're just about to step on her right now. And so they're floating underneath his foot. And he's like, Alexander's like, and Achilles gets there and he climbs in he pulls her out, and then Alexander is like, I must crush something. So he crushes the refs' cars. No, the refs all bail out, and their car gets crushed, and they're like, you son of a bitch, you crushed my car, bro. That's the ref mobile.
Yeah, and so now our hero now has Alaska. We have secured Alaska now.
He won. He crushed the ref's car.
Yeah.
Can't crush the ref's car.
Yeah.
It's in the rules, Jackie.
And then he goes, I don't care. The fight's not over for me. And then they take it to space.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. The refs are like, you guys can fight on your own as much as you want. This shit's over. Alaska is American now. because you crushed the ref's car. You can't do that.
Right.
But, so then they fly into space. He's like, I'm going to go to space. So now Jackie's super out because she's like, oh, a post-apocalyptic end space. Fuck off,
Yeah.
Robot Jox. He's like, and it takes forever. They cut the, 14 and a half minutes it takes to get up there. But then Alexander goes with him and they fly around space. And then Alexander shoots his foot off.
Right.
And then he comes back and just crashes the shit out of his robot. So his plan was like,
right on his face.
Like, it doesn't. Why did you fly to space so that you can crash?
Because
what was his plan?
He hadn't gotten a chance to do it yet, and this was his final flight. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to space."
Well, see, the poster that we were going to create actually said, "You will believe a robot can fly." So I had to go to space to have, robot flight. Superman 4 didn't work out so good either, I guess. It was a mistake on our part. Yeah, he crashes right on his face. And on his way down, the cockpit gets up to 400 degrees. Achilles is dead.
He's dead.
400 degrees is really hot. Like, I think...
Well, the suit that he's wearing is the BPP 125, which stands for Baked Potato Protector.
He's cooked, man. He's a lobster. So he crashes on his face, but then he transforms. He brings his legs in, and he transforms into one of those dogs.
Into Robot Dwarf.
A Robot Dwarf, but I think he's a dog scooting his ass against the ground.
He becomes an Autobot from She-Ra.
What?
He becomes an Autobot from She-Ra.
Want to try that again, bud?
The Manchines.
I don't remember She-Ra, so she's probably right.
Yeah.
There is 0% chance that anybody in She-Ra was called an Autobot.
No, they were called Autobots. They were the Transformers on Eternia.
They cannot be called Autobots, Jackie. There is such a thing called copyright infringement, and that would have been a whole fucking thing that we would have talked about every day for the rest of our lives. How Hasbro sued fucking Mattel and ruined everything.
Yeah, they were called Autobots.
They were not called Autobots.
You look it up.
Sam is right now. As we speak.
It's not looking good, Jackie.
Yeah, very sucks.
Horde bots?
Here's the Autobot cast from She-Ra.
Masters of the Universe, roll out. That was a pretty
Got
goddamn
some very
good Optimus
suspect
Prime.
cosplay happening with Optimus Prime grabbing She-Ra's ass.
She-Ra, you've got a great can. Okay, that wasn't such a good Optimus Prime. It was just me sounding like a pervert. This is riveting.
There's not
Okay.
any Autobots in She-Ra.
No, they're just called Horde bots.
Good.
I guess.
Good. Yeah.
And it took you like 3 minutes to get there after I did. I was looking at cosplay that was so bad I had to click it off.
Okay. All right.
What are you going to do with She-Ra's sword, Optimus Prime? Oh, God, no.
So
Good
Alexander...
thing that's plastic.
Yeah. All right, so Alexander just tosses his dog scooting against the carpet thing, just picks him up and just is like, oh, now you're upside down. That was a dumb fucking thing that you did. But then Alexander's got a crotch chainsaw.
He's got a cock saw.
A cock saw. It's crazy. It comes out of his no-no square.
Yep.
And Achilles is like, okay, well, you sawed my robot cab in half. That one's done. I'm going to get out on the ground. And he's dodging and shaking, and he latches onto his leg, but then he just drops off. Mm-hmm. Like, you could have climbed up and done something cool, but you didn't. You just dropped off onto the ground. And he sees the old fist that was going to kill all those people. because he actually crash landed back in Death Valley. And he goes over and hot wires the fucking fist, and the fist is like takes off, shoots, flies, and hits Alexander in the chest, and
blows him up.
So it wouldn't be the one from Death Valley. It would have been the one that he sawed off.
No,
that she
it's
sawed
the one
off.
She sawed off. She sawed off his arm.
But where they're at is where the bleachers are.
Yes, she sawed off his arm. That's the same arm.
But
laying
there's
on the
no
ground.
bleachers in the next fight, Sam. That was the rule. No more bleachers. They did the
The
fight.
bleachers
no
are there, but
myself.
the people aren't in the bleachers.
Right.
I thought I saw no bleachers.
They were there.
Okay. Either way, the fist flies off, hits him in the chest, and then he explodes.
Also, our hero Achilles is burned to death in the rocket wash.
He was already a little crispy from, the coming in the atmosphere, but this just polished off the rest of the skin, just like Linda Hamilton in that Final Judgment shot. So now he's a skeleton. He's walking around. He's like, I did it. It falls apart. Okay. So then fucking Alexander isn't in his robot anymore because it blew up, but he got blown to safety, apparently. He's got Grossface now and a pipe. And he's like, oh, I'm going to kill you with a pipe. And so they fight each other. They pipe fight. And until they're exhausted. This is a pretty it's not they live good, but this was a pretty, like, these guys have fought hard and now they're tired and they got nothing left in the tank fight. And Achilles stands up and he's like, we can live.
It's worse than that. I had to pull up the actual dialogue here, which goes back to the beginning when I ask does Alexander think that he's doing somebody a favor by giving him this merciful death by crushing him immediately because of whatever's happening on his side? It says, Achilles says, you can live. And Alexander says, yes, if I kill you with this. And then he says, we can both live. And Alexander said, we are already dead. We're Robot Jox. And then they don't kill each other, and immediately the credits roll, and you go, what the fuck?
Not immediately. They had to seal that deal, Sam. And that was with a shared thumbs up.
Oh, they thumbs up, and then the credits roll. The first time that I watched this, I watched it with Roman. I wanted to watch it because
fist pump thumbs up.
Yeah, when it's a rock thumbs up.
Yeah.
Like a but I remember when the trailer was out for this and I was like, Robot Jox looks awesome, and I didn't get to see it. And so I'm like 20 something watching it with Roman, and we watch it and they bump fists and the credits immediately roll and Roman just stands up and goes, what the fuck? He was mad. He was mad that was the ending.
Huh. Okay. I liked it.
I don't know what more you do, but he wanted something
all movies
else.
should end like the deal is sealed with a thumbs up fist pump. Yeah. That's how everything was done in the 80s is my understanding.
Jump freeze frame credits.
Yeah, hell yeah. We can live. I guess he's like saying defect. You're here in Death Valley, just be my butt and like stay at my place. It's kind of a wreck right now. I drove my car through my paper walls, but I've got the floor. The floor's open for you. You can sleep on the floor like I do. My coffee table had succulents in it, but they're kind of got destroyed. There's glass everywhere. But you can totally be my Robot Jox bunk bro. Fuck the Confederation. And Alexander's like, yeah, fuck the Confederation.
Huh.
You're right. And then he does ballet.
So then, because of that, like, you're wondering if he's going to be killed if he must defect in order to live, or if he's just lost all of his human decency. None of that is ever answered in in the core of this movie. Like, you have this science fiction world that never really gets built all the way. So
Right.
you have the Confederation versus the market, the Confederacy versus the market. So right now you've got this terminology here that like one side wins. So you've got this corporate control where it's like, oh, we're going to go with one side or the other on these resources, but ultimately whoever's controlling the Robot Jox is really the controller of all of Earth, I'm guessing. So you substitute all of a sudden, oh, they get Alaska, so these labor costs come down, or, oh, they get Alaska, so we can charge as much as we want, but ultimately the same people win. There's just a bunch of stuff there that they never got to.
Oh, I don't see that at all. I purely see USA versus Russia. This is Rocky 4, Sam. It's just
Okay.
Rocky 4, where Ivan Drago, thank you, me, decides that, hey, Rocky, I barely speak English, but can I be buds? And Rocky's like, Ivan Drago's like, I speak better English than you do. And they become buds. That's how I see it. It's the Confederation. And if you remember, Sam, they're the Russian Federation. This is
the Confederation is the UCCP. It was a Confederation.
But
they call it the America,
Ruskies.
the market. We're the market.
Because it's capitalism. It's the representation.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is that there doesn't seem to be, there's more places to go.
There's a lot more places to go. But I'm assuming that if you lose in Russia, you die. Like, even if there's mercy. That's what I think, Alexander, we're already dead. We're Robot Jox. Even when we retire, we're killed because we're useless. We're a drag on society. We don't contribute anymore, even though we're national heroes. We get that Putin juice and our skin comes off and we turn all crusty on the face. And die.
I agree with you wholeheartedly in that's what the character seems to me inside this unexpanded world, that they didn't go into these places they could have gone, is that he's killing these men out of mercy in his mind, and he knows that if he loses, he's going to die.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like, usually we complain about missed opportunities by like, not like, oh, that joke, dude, it's just right there in front of your face. Or, oh, that person's death. Oh, that would have been so cool if that would have happened. Or, oh, drive the car over the ramp. We usually don't have this problem with science fiction where it's like, dude, how about some world building, for Christ's sakes? Fuck the action. We need to, like, there's some science fiction here that needs to be explored, and it's not. It's just glazed over. Damn it. Instead, you had robots fight.
Yeah.
You know, like that TNT show. Nobody you watch one episode. Oh, robot wars are going to be sweet. Oh, man, robots fighting? Are you kidding me? And then you actually see robots fighting, and like the one just goes whack, 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 and the other has a saw blade that spins around, and they both break in the first fight. And then you're like, this show sucks.
Yeah, so I wasn't part of that or part of the disappointment, because earlier on in life I had been part of it. Like, I tried to build one of those ones. I remember getting the Omni magazines or whatever they were.
Okay.
And so when it happened, I was like, they're going to put this shit on TV? That was what I was questioning.
Yeah, man. No, it wasn't good. We don't care about robots fighting. This whole world that surrounds it is interesting. Charles Band.
Meanwhile,
Stuart Gordon.
Both things are happening, and anybody who's ever seen any incarnation of Gundam is just slapping their head and staring down.
Right. Okay, questions time. Jackie.
I don't have any.
Of course you don't. Sam.
We answered all mine with I guess they didn't need to do more real science fiction, and there was much more to do, but no one cares.
Yeah.
I think there's a good science fiction movie in there. It just didn't happen.
Okay. What was the lead's character, or what was the actress name? Or the lady?
The actress?
Yeah, the female.
Anne-Marie Johnson.
Anne-Marie Johnson or Persis Kambata?
Anne-Marie Johnson.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie Johnson.
Wow. Okay. All right. I thought her
Tex
hair
or
sucked.
Tex? Which Tex do you like more?
Yeah. Probably. God, not Red Brown. What the hell's his name? He's got 2 first names.
He's in Xanadu and the Warriors.
Yeah.
Ben.
Beck. Michael Beck.
Michael Beck.
Definitely Michael
I'm going
Beck.
with Michael Beck, even though this Tex is pretty awesome.
If this text had been Jodan Baker, this text. But it's not Jodan. He just was kind of big and sweaty. Bullshit toys, Megaforce or Robot Jox. Which would you have rather played with?
Robot Jox.
Robot Jox.
Robot Jox.
Even though it's just Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yeah. I would have liked these toys.
Okay. So we've got what can we put against Bostwick's package?
Cocksaw. Duh.
Cocksaw versus Bostwick's package. Jackie, you got to go first for a
Cocksaw.
barometer.
Cocksaw. Bostwick's
All right, I
package
thought you
over
were going
here.
to go with Bostwick's package. I don't want to say it, but Bostwick's package is less offensive.
Okay, the thumbs up, fist slam together, or the thumbs up, kiss you.
Oh, the fucking thumbs up kiss you by
I bet you Jackie disagrees.
Thumbs up, fist bump.
Okay.
Okay.
I give Jackie the thumbs up, kiss you all the time, and she fucking hates it.
Flying into space only to crash versus hot dogging a flying motorcycle into the back of an airplane to high fives.
The flying motorcycle, without a doubt.
Flying motorcycle.
Yeah.
So, Megaforce or Robot
This is
Jox?
a Megaforce podcast and not a Robot Jox podcast.
But
we've done this out of honor. They love that movie. We
just
do not as much.
Go ahead
They
and
might
say
not
it.
like Megaforce like we do, but we are definitely on that side of the
Okay, yeah.
divide if there is one.
I'm Team Megaforce for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. All right. Either way, let's get to final recommendations on Robot Jox. I'll go first. Yeah, I kind of liked it. Is it as nutty as I wanted it to be? Is it Megaforce? No. It's this like blend of all these other, not necessarily post-apocalyptic, but sports theme. We're gonna the sports chain controls the world movie, rollerball or roller derby, rollerball, Deathrace, Running Man, all those things. It's kind of a conglomeration of that, and it's not as fun, but I thought it was interesting and stupid enough that I had a good time with it. I totally recommend a Robot Jox. I'm not gonna swear allegiance to Robot Jox, but I liked it. I think everybody should check it out. I don't think very many people have, and I think it's I don't want to say it's an undiscovered gem, but I think it's a movie that not enough people have seen in this world. Bamcast is the only one that I've ever known talk about it. Jackie.
I was terribly bored and I was not entertained. I'm going to give it a don't.
She was grumpy too from lack of sleep.
And,
you know how she is.
It's a PA movie that just gives her a space left turn at the
Yeah,
end that sucks.
yeah.
Did anyone have any illusions?
If I had
that she
it
was
on
going to
paper,
like this?
I wouldn't say Jackie would like it, but she does have a reputation of when she is sleepy, she gives no's to everything.
Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt. Sam.
I think if you haven't ever seen Robot Jox, you should watch it. Yeah, it's a do. I don't like it all that much. I think it kind of sucks. But I don't think it's a don't because it's not one of my favorites. In fact, I like to pair it with The Arena on a double feature, which is another Charlie movie that came out right around the same time. And I think it's also falls victim to the same exact sort of his problem with Empire falling apart was that same market, they were shopping this and The Arena, and they have the same feel. They have a lot of the same, I think they actually have some of the same sets involved. And
Yeah,
so it makes for a great double feature. You do this one first, it piques the interest in Arena, I think is a lot more fun, but it makes for a nice 3 hours with a break in between.
There you go. All right. We're 50-50 on Robot Jox. So it is what it is.
Not really. 70-30.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. I'm not so good at math or reading because cowards. Next week on the show is Jackie's pick. Yeah, Jackie,
yes.
You got something dialed up?
Yes, we are going to do Three Ninjas, high noon at Mega Mountain.
That's too bad because you already did that movie. You already did it.
No, I didn't. This one has Hulk Hogan in it.
That's the one we did. Jackie?
No.
Okay, maybe not. We'll double check. We already did a Three Ninjas movie for sure. I didn't think the Hulk Hogan was in the Three Ninjas.
Well, the Magic Mountain one's a sequel, I think.
Okay. All right. We'll see what happens next week. In the meantime, have a great week, guys. Get to the chopper.